Hi, Mihaila here. I'm the founder of the brand I Am on Dialysis, where we help you, kidney patient, and your loved ones to overcome fear, sadness, and loneliness in order for you to achieve your dreams and goals. Today's topic: 12 habits that may cause kidney damage. Now, I'm not going to go through all 12, and I'm not going to do this one alone either. I'm going to have some help of Dead Vice TV. He had an amazing video regarding the 12 habits that may cause kidney malfunction. Now, while we go through these 12 habits, they are more or less linked with each other. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to highlight them. And of course, I'm going to put the link in the description so you can watch the whole video yourself and also hear his story, because that Vice TV is also a person with kidney malfunction. So without further ado, let us continue and see what these habits are.
We all have bad habits, whether it's biting our fingernails, procrastinating, watching too much TV. There's a million of them. But there are 12 of them that can cause damage to your kidneys. And let's get right to those. First, not drinking enough water. Your kidneys remove toxins and waste from your blood. They need water. That's the fuel that they use to pull those things out of the blood and flush them down to your bladder as urine, where you can then pee it all away and flush it goodbye. Not drinking enough water removes that fuel that your kidneys need so they can do their job. Also, being dehydrated can increase the rate at which your kidneys fail and they're just not working. Don't get dehydrated. So how much water should you be drinking? You should know this. 1/2 your body weight in ounces every single day.
So he begins with a strong one immediately: drinking enough water. I want to add one thing to that, because for a very, very long time, we have been made to believe that you need like 2 liters of water or something like that per day to drink. That, however, has to be adjusted. You can have like 2 to 3 liter, but it should be fluid. Because if you eat fruit, especially the watery fruits like melons and berries and such, you are having some fluid there also. If you're drinking coffee or you're drinking tea or you're drinking juice or you're drinking anything else that is not considered water, that also is adding to your 2 liter or even 3 liter, depending how big you are and where you're living. Because if you're, like say, in a tropical environment, you will drink more water than when you are in a winter environment. Because, of course, you will use more water, you will evaporate more water in a tropical climate. So that being said, if you're drinking like 2 to 3 liter a day, it may also vary between water, juice, or anything that is considered liquid, or fruits and such. So that being said, drinking enough water or enough fluid is very, very important. And it may be also other things than just water. It may be also fruits.
This one I've mentioned so many times, and your doctor has mentioned it. Too much salt in your diet. You should not have a salt shaker at your table. No, there is more than enough salt for what your body needs in all the food that you eat. Practically everything has salt. Even an egg. An egg has salt in it. Quite a bit actually. Reduce the amount of salt. That means not adding it, reading labels, looking for what the sodium content is. They pack a lot of salt in food, and watching out for processed meat. Most people should only eat 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of salt every day. And if you're not adding salt, you'll probably hit that number pretty easy.
Now, this reason for this bad habits or reason for kidney problem, too much salt, this one I've been mentioning it a few times, but it's not only related to kidney problem or such, but high blood pressure can result in other kinds of illnesses as well. So too much salt is also something. However, I have to add something because the salt that he's talking about and most of physicians are talking about is sodium chloride. So the table salt that you're using, not other salt, because salt on its own is a general name for all kinds of combination of a metal with a non-metal. So when we're talking about reducing the amount of salt that you are digesting, it means the table salt. Those you have to be careful with. He's mentioning like 1,500 to 2,000 milligram per day. According to the World Health Organization, you may even have 5,000 milligram per day. If you think like 5,000, that sounds a lot. That's 5 gram. That is 5 gram per day according to the World Health Organization. For some people, that may be too much. And for some, it may be too little. It depends on how your body reacts. But you cannot go completely without salt. And that has to do with the fact that your own body needs salt to work on. The fact is that depending on how you live and where you live and how your body reacts and such, you should know what best is for you. I'm not going to advise that you are obligated to take none at all or actually as minimum as possible, because as he mentioned, the food that you eat already on its own has salt. Even fruit has on its own salt in it, but it's natural salt and in a way that it will benefit you. But if you need some salt for taste or such, I suggest you reduce it to in a way that it's for you the best way. One example for reducing the salt intake is, let's say you're cooking. As a Caribbean person, I know how we cook. We have all the seasoning. We have seasoning with salt. We have seasoning without salt. We have Maggi. We have ketchup. We have ketchup. We even have salt on it. We have bouillon. We have all kinds of stuff on top of top. Layers on layers on layers on layers of flavor. But those flavor has also salt. When you're cooking and you want to put those layers of flavors on top of each other, a suggestion is to cook as much as possible without salt. Let's say all your spices, even the mixed one, are without salt. So you can add as much as possible that you would like to give the flavor that you want to. And then put, let's say, if you're using Maggi or you're using just salt or bouillon, to choose one of them to add the flavor of salt to it. That way, you still have the flavor of salt, but it's reduced immensely. Because if you think about it, if only already in your making of sauce, you have already reducing the amount of times that you're adding salt to one time instead of layers upon layers upon layers, you already have a win there with reducing the amount of salt that you have taken in. If you're eating a lot of rice, you can also make it without salt. I'm like, wait, that doesn't taste. No, on its own, it doesn't. Eventually, it will taste because you will get used to it. But since the salt is already in the sauce, you don't have to put it also in the rice. You will eat it together anyway, so therefore you will have the flavors correctly. And that counts also for your meat. And if if you're putting vegetables next to your food, also. So it depending on how much just no, I'm saying it wrong. You have to inventory how many salty things you're using for cooking or that you're eating, and you reduce that as much as possible. And to see your taste buds and such, because eventually you're not tasting any salt anymore, or your taste buds will be like numbed out because you're eating so much salt that you are not tasting the other flavors. So my advice is, again, to reduce the salt in that way. That's the easiest way to introduce a sodium less diet. Now let us continue to the next topic, next habit.
All right, this one's a big no-no. You've heard this one before. Hopefully, don't use painkillers. Don't overuse them, especially the NSAIDs ones, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. Those are really bad. They can cause kidney damage with a large dose or even small doses used over a long period of time. Even Tylenol, which is one of the safer ones for those who already have kidney disease, can cause problems. Now, it usually damages your liver, but you got to be careful with pain relievers. If you have a headache, there's these cold compress things you can put on your forehead. They stick on there. They usually work great. They work fantastic for me. Maybe you can take a shower. Maybe you can go for a walk. Maybe you can do some stretching. Try to find, if possible, alternatives for all these minor aches and pains that you may want to pop a pill, but maybe you can get by without a pill. You don't want those adding up over time. That's how my kidney disease, my kidney damage, my chronic kidney disease, came to me. It was from overuse of Advil. Now, I was not popping pills like crazy. I was taking less than the daily dosage. Problem was, because of my back, I was taking it for almost a year, and it just destroyed my kidneys. All right, so when it comes to pain pills, try to skip them as much as possible. Only use them when absolutely needed, and only use the amount you absolutely need.
Painkillers. One of the habits is so underrated. Most of us do not know about this, that painkillers can add to kidney damage, kidney malfunction. We are seeing on television the commercial for Aleve, for ibuprofen, or doctors are providing, especially if you are saying, I'm on paracetamol. I don't know how they call it in America, but here in Europe and Caribbean, we call it paracetamol, the lightest of them all. Even if you tell them, you go to the doctor, yes, I have this pain and I've been using paracetamol and it's not working, I'm still in pain, they will give you gladly ibuprofen, or they tell you grab an Aleve to help and such. Once in a while, it doesn't mind. It will give you that relief that you are searching for, and it's okay. However, and just like that Vice TV has said, if you're using it a huge amount, or you are using small amount but for a long period, it can damage your kidneys. Check the how you say the folder that is with the medication that tells you about this. Even though it's known, especially in the physician world, hospitals, doctors, they know that ibuprofen and Aleve may result in kidney problems. They still leave it available for everybody to take it. And it's your choice, of course, especially if you're having a lot of pain. However, if you don't want kidney damage, I suggest you be careful with those medication. On a side note, if you're having a lot of pain, not just take painkillers for it and continue. Pain is a signal of your body telling you there's something wrong. So you need to address it accordingly. Go to the doctor. If the doctor is saying, well, it's just something small, here's a ibuprofen and just take it easy. If you really feel that there's something wrong, that not even ibuprofen is enough, that is, and especially if you're a person that is listening to your body. If you know there's something wrong, don't let them just tell you, here's an ibuprofen and sleep it out. Put your foot down and make sure that they find out what it is. Because pain is an indication that there's something wrong. Let's say, I have to give a side note though. Because if you went the day before going to the gym, and do some heavy lifting, and you've been at it in the gym, and the next day you are sore, that's also painful, but that you don't need any doctor's appointment for. You just went a little bit overboard and your muscles are recuperating. But you know what I mean when it's like a pain that is not right. Then make sure you put your foot down and let them or let them see what's going on. Right? That being said about pain, let us continue regarding the 12 habits.
All right, this is a pretty easy one. Alcohol. Don't excessively use alcohol. As a matter of fact, alcohol use, if it's excessive, over doubles your chances of having severe kidney damage. So avoid alcohol. I don't drink any alcohol, but that's just the way I am. If you are going to drink occasionally and drink very little. And if you can, try to stick to the less hard stuff, things like beer and wine.
This one is a good one. Alcohol. Not mentioned a lot, but it's a good one. I actually don't have a lot to add to it, but one thing I do want to add. And it's going to come again later on also. But I think you should, especially if you're a person that loves your alcohol. Well, I don't know how you can have a love for alcohol, but you know what I mean. Especially around this period of time, February, carnival, or festive, or anything like that you like to drink some, have some fun and such. If you're doing this regularly, it can impact your health. And the fact of the matter is, when you go to the doctors and they see that you have that you are a kidney patient or becoming a kidney patient, or that your kidneys are starting to show damage due to the partying and drinking a lot of alcohol, what will happen is that the doctors will take you less seriously. Also because of the reasons that Vice TV has mentioned, but they will look at you differently. If you're a person that don't drink alcohol compared to a person that do drink alcohol, they will do more of their best for the person that is not drinking alcohol compared to the one who does. So if you are drinking alcohol, the best thing is to lower it down. And if you know you cannot control yourself, don't drink it at all, to make sure that your chances of help increases. So let us continue, because he has really, really good examples of habits that are contributing to kidney damage.
All right, now this one's going to be a tough one for some of you. Stop smoking. No smoking. You know it's bad for you. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel on that. But it is really bad for your kidneys. First of all, it's going to help drive your blood pressure up, which is bad. You don't want high blood pressure. It's going to restrict the size of your blood vessels in your kidneys. So now your kidneys are getting less blood. They're being choked off. You don't want that. Also, you're probably not aware of this, but smoking, it impacts your medications. So they're not going to work as effectively as they should. So cut smoking. If you're still doing it, you got to stop. There's a number of reasons. Your kidneys are just one of them.
Smoking. Personally, I never thought that smoking would add to kidney damage. But the way that Death Fights TV is explaining it, it makes a lot of sense. Myself, I never smoked. I never even were tempted about it. I think it's disgusting. However, I do have people around me that smokes. And I can understand that you like it and you need it to calm your nerves or whatever. But if you know now that the smoking can add to kidney damage, then it's up to you to decide what to do. But then, and also, just like I said before, with alcohol drinking, when you are a patient that is not smoking nor drinking, compared to a patient that is smoking and or drinking, doctors are willing to help the one who's not smoking and or drinking earlier and better than the one who is smoking and or drinking. So for your own health, for own benefits, for your own benefits, quit as soon as you are diagnosed, or even better before you are diagnosed, because it's better to, even though you not know now that you may have kidney damage, to make sure that you don't go that slippery slope downhill towards it. It's very, very important. Do it for yourself and nobody else.
All right. This one might be a shocker, but eating a high protein diet is tough and can cause kidney damage. Now it's funny, everywhere you look, everything has protein in it, and it seems like the more the better. Well, that's a falsehood. You do not need excess protein. There's a certain amount you need. You can go to dadvicetv.com and there's a calculator on there, and you look up your ideal body weight and what your frame structure is, and if you're a male or a female, and your height, and it will help you calculate how much protein you should eat a day. Now, animal protein, which is the most common, is really, really tough on your kidneys. It puts them through a workout. And after you eat animal protein, your body, your kidneys go into hyperfiltration mode, and that lasts for 2 to 3 hours, that they're just working overtime, whether they need to or not. So you're putting lots of stress on them, making them work a lot, wearing them out. So no high protein diet. Now, we've talked about this before, and hopefully you've seen my videos about protein and chronic kidney disease. Plant-based protein is completely different. You can eat it. Your body does not go into hyperfiltration mode. So try to substitute plant-based protein for animal protein as much as possible. And animal protein, it's inside meat, dairy, eggs, it's all over the place. And it's also what's usually used to increase the protein in a lot of the products that you see. Now, when you do pick plant-based, try also to pick non-soy plant-based. Soy can cause inflammation. Inflammation is not good for your kidneys.
A totally unpopular opinion. Protein and kidneys. What he said there, in the beginning, and I'm talking about 2017, 2018, that is not far in the beginning for myself, but before I went over to being vegan / vegetarian, in between such, I was eating meat. And one of my best friends went raw vegan for her health and her child's health. So when she came to me on vacation, if I'm correct, 2016 that she came. And we were at Curacao at that moment. She was like, I was talking to her about eating meat and such and such. And I was telling her, I cannot go without my meat. I need meat to eat. And she explained to me, yeah, that's what we've been told. That's what we've been said, but that's not completely true and such and such. Until I tried it in 2018, and I'm still trying till today, but I don't miss meat. And what he said is so, so, so true. Plant based protein are less damaging for your kidneys than animal protein. If you know that when you consume animal, and if you not animal protein, but if you consume meat, it can take several hours to days before it leaves your body, depending on the type. While as plant-based can take a few minutes till a few hours, depending also what kind of plant you are eating. But it will definitely leave the same day. And even while it's leaving, it will take all the garbage with it and give you some good good nutrition and such. The thing is that I've learned to live without meat. And for a Caribbean person, that is pretty much difficult since our culture is evolved around meat. A lot of barbecues, a lot of food with a lot of meat in them. Also, based on the fact that our history, that since we are descendant from slaves, and I will from now on I will call them survivors of slavery, because if you really know the whole history, you will understand why I will call them survivors. Based on how it was in that period, we did not get the fresh or the best part of the animal to eat. We had to do it with scrapes, and we made the best of it. And we did the best of it in such a way that it's coming back as a tradition, or we eating it on a daily basis and such. And basically, it's starting to kill us. I will talk about that another time. However, if you can, if you are not yet a candidate for dialysis, or you're not diagnosed yet with kidney damage, then it's a good thing for you to start reducing the amount of meat that you're eating to give your body some rest, especially your kidneys. And if you really want to give them, like, let's say a whole week of a rest, then you should try a whole week without proteins at all, animal and plant. So basically, you're just detoxing a whole week and building it up again just to give your whole body a rest and then continue. But those are suggestions for later on. Anyway, let's continue because we're almost there and we have a few more to discuss.
All right, this is the worst bad habit out there. This causes the most kidney damage. Diabetes. Not managing your diabetes is awful. You gotta manage it if you have diabetes. So when your blood sugar gets high, you got too much glucose, you're damaging your kidneys. And you need to keep that down, keep it in check, so you're not putting all that extra strain and damage to your kidneys. You also should get your A1C checked. This is different than the blood test, your glucose test that you do at home when you prick your finger and stuff like that. Get your A1C tested by your doctor and keep it below 7%. 7% is the maximum you want your A1C. But 44% of new cases of kidney disease are caused by diabetes not being managed. Oh. 1 in 4 adults who have diabetes have kidney disease. So if you got diabetes, manage it. Okay? No exceptions.
Ooh, that one is a big one. Diabetes. And this one, I thank God myself. I don't have any diabetes. So I don't know how I don't know how to talk about it because I don't have the experience nor the knowledge a lot about it. However, I do have family members with diabetes or the start of diabetes. And I have to say, it's not something to joke about. I lost a great aunt of mine. She I eventually passed away due to diabetes. She had it for years, for decades. But it started eating away inside of her. And I have another family member that is in the beginning phase. And I have to say, some of them are stubborn. But yeah, what do you do about it? You cannot force anybody. You can only advise, and hopefully they will listen and take actions. But if you are one that is suffering from diabetes, know that you can do something about it. First of all, if you have diabetes while being overweight, lose the weight. Diabetes while on alcohol, stop drinking. All those stuff. Make sure you manage it. That's why I say manage your diabetes. That managing diabetes means make sure you don't eat too much sugar. Make sure you don't eat too much. Make sure you're healthy. Make sure you're in movement. You make sure that you are not overweight. Make sure all the things that comes along with being diabetes, those are in check. That you live as healthy as possible. Because if you live as healthy as possible for you, you might even turn it back. So that you don't need those insulin, that you are not anymore a diabetes person, and most importantly, that you do not have any kidney problems. When I got sick, just a small story in between. When I got sick in 2019, I had to go to the Curacao hospital. I had to go on dialysis there before I came to Holland. While I was on the dialysis department in the hospital at Curacao, I've noticed something. There were a few people, now I do not know everybody on dialysis there, but what I saw is what I'm saying right now. Because we were since I was going on the same time all the time, I saw pretty much the same people. When I was there, I've noticed 2-3 people, especially men, who was missing a leg. And that leg that they were missing, I don't know for sure, but it's an assumption, even though I may not make assumption, but I think it's an assumption that is due to diabetes. And they continue not taking care of themselves till it got so far that they have now kidney damage. So based on that, I highly recommend to do whatever it's necessary within your power, not within your budget, within your power, because there's a lot of things you can do for free to manage your health. Okay, we're almost there, just a few more. And by the way, if you want to know all the 12 habits, because we are not discussing all of the 12, you can find the link to this video, of the original link of the video, so you can watch it without me interrupting it and discussing my experience. Okay, let's continue.
Speaking of no exceptions, if you have high blood pressure, you better be managing it. The second leading cause of new cases of kidney disease, unmanaged high blood pressure. High blood pressure just gets things pumping. It's putting a ton of stress on your kidneys. doing damage. And here's where it gets worse. Your kidneys help regulate your blood pressure. So you got high blood pressure, they're getting damaged, your blood pressure's going up even more because they can't regulate it. You're just in this downward spiral that's only going to end with death or kidney failure. If you have high blood pressure, manage it. Take your meds, get your exercise, do what you need to do, manage that high blood pressure.
He mentioned high blood pressure on its own. But know that high blood pressure does not come on its own. It's linked to too much salt, too little movement. All those things comes along with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is a result of other habits. And on its own, it will damage your kidneys. So it's a high blood pressure on its own, like I said, it's like it's a result and then a cause, a result and a cause. It's a result of other habits, bad habits that resulted in the high blood pressure, and then the high blood pressure itself is then a cause of your damage. Just let that sink in.
And last, number 12, obesity or being overweight. And those are two separate things. They're similar, but they are separate. Those also cause all sorts of issues. Heart problems, they lead to high blood pressure, it leads to diabetes, it can damage your kidneys. You got to take care of that. If your BMI is 30 or over, you're obese. If your BMI is 25 to 29.9, you're overweight. You should be exercising 5 days a week for 30 minutes a day. And this could be a brisk walk, it could be swimming. Find something you like. I've got a video about that, exercising and kidney disease. There's lots of options out there. Find something you can do and that you like. Also, if in the future you have kidney failure and you need a transplant, most places require a BMI below 35. So let's go ahead, let's get that taken care of now. It's going to improve things, it's going to help your kidneys function better, it's going to drive your GFR up, and hopefully you'll never ever need to worry about a transplant. But if you do, you don't want to be, 36, 37, 38 BMI and not able to get a transplant because of that. When the time comes, if it does, and I hope it never does, but if the time comes and you need a transplant, you need to focus on that, not then on losing weight, because you're not going to have enough energy. You're not going to feel like you want to do that. So take care of that today.
The last habit that he's mentioning is not such as a habit as much as a result of the previous habits. Not enough exercising, overeating, over drinking, maybe even smoking and drinking alcohol amongst that, but mostly overeating and under movement, that you're moving too little. That can result in your being overweight or even obese. Now, I have biggest part of my life, I have very little people around me that are obese until recently. And what I've noticed with people who, because I never understood why a person can let themselves go like that. Why would you become so big that you are officially obese, morbidly obese? And I've noticed that eventually somebody is sick, usually mentally sick, and they don't care anymore. They don't love themselves anymore. They don't take care of themselves anymore. They just plain don't care anymore, and they do whatever they feel like they want to do, But on top of that, they are addicted to the sugar, the salt, the snacks, the negativity, the downward spiral. It's very, very addictive to them. If you don't, even if they ask you for help, if you don't do as they say, you should do, they will get angry with you. You've done it. So basically, it's very difficult to help a person that is obese because he or she has a lot of demons to attend to, like their mental health, the addiction to food, not caring, not loving for themselves, basically, they basically are giving up, stuck in a situation that they self-created. You cannot help them unless they want to be helped. Anyway, that all being said, I did not mention all 12. Otherwise, we will be here till tomorrow still discussing all these habits. But the habits that I discuss are the ones that I highlighted. If you want to know all the 12 habits, I suggest you go to the video of Dead Fires TV and watch it yourself without my commentary or whatever. If you want some help with these habits, if you want to break them in the best way possible for you, you can contact me. My contact information will be at the end of this video and below in the description, and then we will make a personal plan for you to become a better version of yourself in order for you to achieve your goals and dreams. That all being said, thank you again for your time, attention, care, and love. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and see you next time. Bye.